Hello, and this is our nth episode of In Touch.
Yeah. And for this week, do you want to banter first or should I just go?
Oh, we can banter first, yeah.
I know
But
you
okay,
watched the film together, right? That's something perhaps you want to discuss.
together with you mean with
The film that the horror film, right? Isn't
together, yeah.
that
Yeah, I thought you meant like watching this film, like a
No,
film
no,
we're gonna talk about together or something.
no.
Um, I don't know. Like I had really high expectations walking into together, but in the end I did like it, but I feel like it was predictable in some ways.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but
Right.
it was definitely interesting, and I didn't get the chance to really, like sit down and think about it. I kind of just watched it and went to bed.
Did you
But
Okay, is it like on streaming services or was it means that
on
are
on selective streaming
Okay.
services, um, but yeah, it was like the special effects like was done really well. It really it's like body horror, kind of a little bit of cult horror.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, like nothing too outstanding, but I feel like it does kind of dive into relationship dynamics a
hmm
lot because
hmm
it is like a film about couples, and as you can see from the trailer, I'm not spoiling this for anyone. They're like merging together, like that
mm,
process. So it was definitely interesting concept.
hmm
But yeah, I just feel like I need to think about it a little more.
mm. Do
But
you think it's like more well done than The Substance? Because I've only seen The Substance and I don't see a lot of horror.
it's two very different topics. So I wouldn't say that they're comparable, but to me personally, I feel like the substance definitely, like the body horror, hit way harder
Got
than
you.
the body horror in this movie. I just feel like because this one didn't have as much blood and needles, and that works for me better. But yeah, we haven't
So
talked about what we're gonna do today. Today we're
yeah, today
it's
it's
a big swerve.
a
Um,
different topic completely. We decided to watch a Chinese movie. And it is by a director that I should have seen works by a long time ago because I'm a Chinese film major. But at the same time, I haven't for one reason. I don't know why, but I'm glad we did finally. And it's A Touch of Sid by Jia Zhangke. So it is my very first Jia Zhangke, so I don't know what to expect. So from what I heard though, he is like a bit of a like realistic, slow cinema kind of guy. So I don't know if A Touch of Sin is representative of what he normally does. But
oh, I know the
you
answer to that
you
question. I
know?
know.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
Okay. I looked into it a little bit,
Okay, got
and basically it says that A Touch of Sin is one of his more faster paced movies
got you,
compared to
got you.
his other movies, and
I was
it's more
surprised too. Like immediately in the first scene, I was surprised by it. The pace, yeah.
like
Mhm.
yeah. Um, it is like more unit structured,
Got you, got you.
and also like I think it's one of his like stories that have a more clear, you see the whole conflict appear and sort of resolve. And I
Got you.
know that he also apparently does like documentary like movies,
Mm.
or mini movies, but this is my first movie of Jia Zhangke as well. I've never heard of him in the past even, which is sad.
Mm.
But
Not really. It's like film people have their like big names they want to they like to throw out, and this is one of them. That's like one of the only reasons I've heard of him. So don't feel bad about it. Yeah.
yeah, but I feel like a lot of people do know about him. He's like not that niched.
He's not
Um,
niche. He's one of the greats, yeah,
yeah,
in China for sure. Yeah. He's
yeah,
still
but I've
producing.
never heard about him. So I'm like, okay, this is great, and I like the movie overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, by unit based, do you want to tell our viewers what that meant?
So, what Jia Zhangke did here was he focused on four different people, all in, I would say, marginalized areas of the society.
Hmm.
Four different people, four different stories about their struggles with the things that are going on as a result of China's rapid globalization and also rapid economic progressment.
Hmm.
Does
Hmm.
that sum it up? Kind of.
No, I agree. I think that's a really good way. And that's so different from what I would have said. Because I would have said something like four different people and how violence became the only solution for all four of
Yeah,
them.
that's also a very important part of it. I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
much better. That's
No,
much
like, because you like contextualize their struggles into like the past, right? Or like the now, even. People are still dealing with like similar situations with less violence, perhaps, but I think you t contextualize why they are doing what they did really well. Yeah.
But
The
it's not
rapid.
like that. I feel like combining both of our takes together, like both our summaries together, is like the whole key and core of this movie. It's like you can't lose sight of the big picture because that's what's doing it to them. Yet they like they represent a pack of individuals that are struggling, but at the same time, they are their own individuals. And it's because of the bigger context that's led them to do these things that are like personalized acts of violence,
Hmm.
which is,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. And do you want to maybe let's just start with the first story then, and we'll like move down the line?
Mhm.
But I think the very first scene is important, so we can talk about that first. So in the first
Mhm.
scene, we see the protagonist of the second story, Sar, meaning like the third son, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sar was like on a motorcycle, but I think we saw actually Jiang Wu's character first. So Dahai,
Dahai.
like the protagonist of the
Which
first
means
story,
ocean.
just
Yeah,
means
which means ocean,
ocean.
ocean.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was like tossing this tangerine. And then we see Sar
It's a
on.
tomato. It's a tomato.
Oh, it's a tomato. I'm sorry. Okay, I thought it was a tangerine. I'm sorry.
And it's important. The tomatoes are important. Tomatoes are important.
They're important? Okay,
They're
tell me later. Tell me
important.
later why they are important. Okay. Um, we see Sar like riding on a motorcycle, and then some like how would you describe these like little rascals, like like little
They're like
tuve?
they have like pipes or whatever, and they're like, give us your money, give us your money. They're
Yeah,
like
how would you translate
on a
that
highway.
concept into English? 土匪, kind of. Um,
Like bandits out of nowhere.
bandits. Yeah, yeah, that might be good. So just up to no good, and they're like, "Give me your money," in really, really heavily accented Chinese, and I had to rely on the English subtitles because I was watching it
Wait,
on
you were watching it
Criterion.
on English, so
Did you also
oh
watch
my
it in English
no,
subtitles?
I watched it in Chinese subtitles.
Because I have means through Criterion.
I couldn't understand half of what the movie was saying either. Like it was a lot of it was like dialect mixed with
Yeah.
Mandarin, like standard Mandarin. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very confusing for me, who speaks no dialect at all in China. But then very surprisingly, the Tsar pulled up his gun and then just shot all three of these people. The third one, he even got on the bike and like chased him for a while and then shot him as well. So immediately violence struck the film. And then we see Dahai again, and he was seeing Sar this time on a motorcycle riding away. And Dahai this time was like near one of the corpses that was a result of Sar's murder spray, I guess.
Oh, I
And
think it was a truck driver. I think it was the truck driver.
it was another death that happened.
Yeah, it was another death. It was the truck driver. Like that's why the thing collapsed to the side.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. For me, I thought he saw the results of SARS murder spray and then thought, okay, violence is a solution, which planted a seed in his head.
Oh,
That's
that's an
what I thought.
interesting take. But
Because I think,
I'm pretty sure it was like Sar just like murdering three people off the bat and just passing by.
got you. I thought he did a certain just so to
Oh,
get the flame off his back. But for me, it's like this person who just saw like a kind of rogue figure,
mhm.
anti-hero figure, just like using violence as a solution and getting away with it. And that planted a seed in his head, which prompted us into the first story of Dahai. I thought that was what
Oh,
happened. So I think the
uh,
settings are also important too. This first story happens in Shanxi, um,
Shanxi, a
which
place for a lot of coal.
known for
Oh,
the coal mines and how rich the factory owners are, like the mine owners are. Yeah.
in
Hmm.
contemporary China, better known for their love of noodles and vinegar. They have really good vinegar, if anyone cares. I care, their vinegar is great. But okay, what were we talking about? Yeah, the
The
story.
first
So
story,
going
yeah.
back, so an interesting point I want to point out, so later on we could talk about the importance of the tomatoes. Well, tomatoes are red, and that's important because red is a color of China. Red is a color of revolution. And basically, like the symbolism here is that the red crops are like a symbolism for revolution and the things that have been going on in the past in China, where everyone was more proletarian and more communist, everybody is more collectivist,
Hmm.
and everyone is working as a team to reach a certain goal. So the more like red side of China.
And
Um,
also like the importance of fruits, I guess, or like just crops is that it's part of our history, right? It's a very important part of like how the farmers they became like kind of
exactly.
rising to the top through their own actions of labor. So fruits, the symbolism, it's dual, like first the color and second just being a crop.
And then the fact that, there's a truck of that being overturned on the
Mhm.
ground, also it sort of adds to the symbolism of like this era is over and, the revolution, the red part of China, the collectivism, it's like kind of falling apart. But
Mhm.
here we see Dahai, like the first protagonist of the story, he's there with a fruit in his hand and he eventually takes a bite. But um the person that just committed murder, Sar, he just like kind of passed by, but he was like looking back. He looked back three times at the crops before speeding away.
Mhm.
So that leads us into the first story. And basically, in a gist, what goes on in this unit? It's pretty simple. It's a story about revenge, a story about violence.
And also, oh,
Um,
sorry, I forget before that the very last thing that we heard in the prologue, I guess, was the mine, yeah, explosion. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
What does that represent? I kind of
It's just how lives are sacrificed, right? It doesn't, I don't think it represents a lot from
mhm.
what I could tell. Just like the fact that the mine owner just gets rich by sacrificing a lot of people and lives, right? Not just like money.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like this first story is about basically this guy, Dahai. He used to be old classmates with this now really rich boss of this small rural town that's making coal. Um, and that person is called Jiao Shengli. So we can call him just like Mr. Jiao or something.
Hmm.
Boss Jiao. So
Hmm.
Boss Jiao made his money basically by
Embezzlement.
um basically in previous years he promised like everyone in town in the coal like industry, okay, everyone in our town will have a share of the profits, but
Hmm.
in the end he kind of embezzled it and turned like the country's money to become like his own company. I don't know
Hmm.
what the process is, but he kind of like kept the funds to himself.
Hmm.
And but now he earned respect because people like kind of they're like, oh well, this is what we are, we accept our fates as people that are just working for a capitalist as long as we have a job, whatever.
As long as
But
we also have like small perks here and there that he like
yeah,
dishes out, like
like a
the
bag of flour.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So there was a lot of corruption. the 村长, the
The
head
village head.
mayor of the town, yeah,
Yeah.
and also the accountant, they're all in ties on this. And Dahai has a heart of gold, heart of justice. He hates what's going on. He feels like this is unjust and he wants to make things right. But none of his fellow like workers and fellow like villagers support him in that sense. They're all kind of like, just be happy with what you have. Um,
You have a
but
house. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, like, but he isn't, and he's constantly saying, "I'm going to report these corrupt people to Beijing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna report them to the central government, and they're gonna do something about it, and we're gonna become a happy little town again." But
Hmm.
no one listens to him, and no one wants to help him, and eventually he gets laughed at, he gets mocked, he gets beaten up by Boss Diao's followers and
Hmm.
little luo luo. What is that in English?
Like
Um,
gopher board, like literally.
little gophers. And then he
Gets inspired by like 水浒传.
yeah,
Yeah.
水浒传.
So like, what's the
What's that
fucking
in English?
English?
Yeah, what's the English for 水浒传?
It's like one of
108
the
good men going to the mountain.
yeah, yeah. Like it's one of the four great classical novels in Chinese literature. It's Water
Okay.
Margin, Water
Okay,
Margin,
water margin.
or All Men Are Brothers.
Outlaw or
Outlaws.
Outlaws of the Marsh.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's like one of the slightly lesser known ones of the four in Western culture for some reason. I feel like it's a great reason.
It's a great one, especially for Chinese history, because it shows like how people they can go rogue and that through their own actions and sometimes
When they're
violent
oppressed.
means, you
Yeah.
can have what you want. It's kind of,
Mhm.
yeah, embodiment of what happened in a way for Chinese history.
Yeah.
So he watched that and then got super inspired. Um,
Like,
mhm.
and gets out his
Hunting
super long
animals.
rifle. Yeah, and there's like a symbolism of lion, like not a lion, sorry, a tiger. And he's like, I'm the tiger of this town. And he goes first to the secretary slash accountant of the town. And in the room of the accountant, we can see jars of red juice. And that red
Yeah,
juice is made from those overturned tomatoes on the road. That's
yeah.
tomato juice. And he's using the crops of
The people, yeah.
everyone, the
Hmm.
people, and to satisfy his own like needs and selfish like needs. The accountant had this gun pointed at his head by Dahai, and the Dahai was like, "You write that confession. You write that confession of the corruption and all that you did." And he did not want to write it. But then, when
They
he
heard
heard police
wayo,
sirens,
wayo. Yes.
yeah, heard police sirens. That's when he got cocky, and he's like, "You're not gonna shoot me."
You're a coward. Yeah.
Yeah, Dahai pulls his gun back. He starts to blink his eyes really, really fast. But then he pulls out that gun again because he's got mocked and he shoots him straight. And then
He shot his
the
wife.
accountant's wife, yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, oh well. And then he basically goes on a rampage and he kills everyone that he feels did this town and all its villagers wrong and did him wrong, that mocked him, called him names, and also the mayor of the town, and also who else did he kill? Yeah, Bastial,
The very end.
uh, yeah, and
He
also
didn't,
a person
yeah.
that was beating up a horse.
Yes, yes, yes. The horse part is also very on the nose, right? You kill the person responsible for causing all the pain. And
Mm-hmm.
then the horse was able to like go off freely on its own, right? At the very end, you see the horse um just doing the job
That's
naturally.
yeah.
But I think some things of note in this story, firstly, is how absurd the plane is. Like, like in a way, I thought that might border on like absurdism. Like in my head, I kind of know that the bosses do get super rich and they are able to afford like yeah, planes and like LV bags. But like the look, of this plane just descending and then like these super poor people like all dressed up and just like they're waiting for him, like that contrast is so dramatized and like so good, I think. And the other thing I wanted to say is at Bastial's final hour, he was like, "Okay, what can I do for you?" So like it's in a way that's how system gets to individuals, right? Like by just promising them like, "Okay, I can pay you off and then we're good, right? You don't have to expose me anymore, right?"
How the society works now.
Yeah, it is, but like it's just so emblematic. Like I said, like how can I do pay you off so that we're clear, right? Like so you don't expose me, so you don't kill me. Do you have other thoughts on the first story?
It's just so sad. Like, I think
Yeah.
especially because it's a Chinese film, and apparently it's like a taboo film in China. Of course it is.
Yeah.
But it's never aired and it's not allowed to air. But to me, like I haven't watched a lot of Chinese movies that use a gun and just commit acts of like people where people just commit acts of violence.
And you don't see them like being like punished for it because I think it is a part of China's unspoken censorship that anyone who commits a crime on screen, they need to
Yeah.
be punished or like,
Yeah.
in prison or whatever. But in this
We
film,
don't see that. We don't see
none
that.
of those. Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's refreshing for
That
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's refreshing for sure. I didn't really notice that until you pointed it out. Thank you for that. But another thing was just like, just the scenario of normal people picking up a gun and committing violent acts for justice is something that I've never seen like in a Chinese movie. Unless it was, a certain genre of movie.
Mhm.
Like,
That's what we can talk about because I do think this film draws from wuxia movies. Even the name, like it's the English title, at least it was drawn from A Touch of Zen, which is like a wuxia film from the 70s, where it is a genre, like you said, that like people can just use violence to as a means to an end and justified, right? And they can just solve shit that they wanted to address through violence. And we love that shit in the past. And it was like a part of our culture as well, right? Like, and it's
yeah.
something that is internationally recognized. We're known for like these Bruce Lee movies and these like wuxia movies. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the first story, I also got literal chills when Dahai was confronting Boss Xiao. He's like, okay, so what about your promise to the people that you're
Mhm.
gonna, you know, get us all out of poverty? You're gonna, the lives were taken and like we are living in squander because of you. When he was
Yeah.
confronting Bao Xiao when he descended on his giant ass plane, right? Like,
Okay,
uh,
I just want to cut in. I'm so glad you watched it with the English subtitles because like some lines I do not know how to translate it into English. No way. Um,
in my head, sometimes it's also like kind of twisted because I can sometimes understand the dialect. So like when I saw the
so you
English, I was
won't.
like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know that discrimination.
Yeah, the struggle
Um,
of bilingual, I guess. Do you want to move on to the second story?
no, but wait, there's more in the
Okay,
first
just go
story.
ahead. Yeah, 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 go ahead.
There's more. So,
So many
oh
things
my
to
God,
talk
I just kicked my notes away. One
about.
swing action. Like we're gonna credit this, of course. Like well, after watching the movie, I was looking more into it and watching a really good deep dive and analysis of the movie. This channel did a super good job of analyzing the movie, delving into the cultural background, the history context. So another scene I want to talk about is the bus scene
Hmm.
where they're urging Dahai to get on the bus so they
Yeah,
can get to the airport
yeah.
to
Gracias.
yeah,
Welcome
to
and to get the
welcome.
right
Yes.
to the
I
flower.
forgot welcome. I forgot the word welcome to welcome Bastial and his Arnak,
Yeah,
his
like concubine.
lover.
That's not a
Yeah,
mistress.
lover.
Mistress.
Yeah, mistress. There you go. Not concubine. What century are we in?
I'm sorry.
But basically, like, there's a few lines here that, if you think about it closely, that don't really make a lot of sense because this bus is clearly for people that want to go to the airport to welcome Bastiao, because like the person urging Dahai on the bus was saying 该走的都走了，
Hmm.
该走的都走了, like the people that should go have already
Gone.
gone.
Hmm.
But in other words, like it kind of means like, the people that have been bought out have all been bought out.
Mm-mm.
It's only you left. And it's like normally, like if you want
Like
to
we're
urge
all on
someone,
board. Sorry to
we're
use
all on board. Yeah, like
a
you
bus.
wouldn't say that to Dahai, right? If you
Yeah.
want him to go, because you clearly know that he's not on board with all of this shit. He's
Mm-mm.
the person trying to fight it. And like in the background where Dahai is killing more and more people, going on his rampage and falling up all the to the point where he's killing Boss Tiao. In the background, we hear the radio overhead talking about a policy, and it becomes clearer and clearer over time.
Mm-hmm.
And that policy is called 山西省国家资源型经济转型综合配套改革试验总体方案.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just saying, like, um, we welcome any means of transformation of the economy.
Hmm.
We
Basically
welcome,
saying, use us. We have these resources and
yes,
we are
we welcome
blessed for
any
you to
kinds of,
use us, basically. Yeah.
mhm.
Hmm.
We're welcoming any kinds of innovation. Any person that feels like they can make the, I don't know, economy better are welcome to do whatever they want, essentially.
Basically. Yeah.
And we hear this in the background, and he's going to make his final kill. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I was also tuned into that because, the modernization comes at the prices of many, many lives in central China, right? Is it central or like Western China?
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, basically. You're right. As we can tell from the other stories in this film.
Because in this film, like the four different units focus on four different people in all different parts of China.
True, true.
And as we all know, China, it's vast. It has many, many different provinces. It has many, many different ethnicities, many, many different dialects, many, many different people. Yeah, so the four stories are focused on people that live in different places, going to different places to struggle and make a living because, like, in their old homes, they don't have choices left.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes. That there's a really good quote I saw on Letterbox, which is today, violent revolution is absolutely necessary, and that's unfortunate by Jean-Marie Straub. I think it sums up what you said and what the gist of the movie is, right? Unfortunate that it's the only means in this movie, right?
But still, like here now in modern China, and we'll never be able to post this in modern China because, of course, it's going to get censored. But like we're trying to, at least we know we're censored, right? Like that
Mm,
part is better, I feel like, than compared to Western society. I don't know if that will get censored on Western society, but like censorship happens everywhere.
yeah.
And well, at least like people in China are trying to fight against that censorship because Chinese people use the internet so much and rely on the internet so much now. And it's kind of like good and bad at the same time. Good in the way that it's kind of turning into a hive mind when
Mm,
sometimes like something tragic happens and the government isn't doing anything about it and there's like corruption, yada yada. People like try really hard to get this issue big and to get this issue heard
mhm.
by people of power. And oftentimes, not oftentimes, I feel like it's more like availability bias. What was the word? But basically, if you know, you know. If you don't know about it, you don't know about it. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of like tragic things that happen that go unpunished, but eventually have sort of like a resolution at the end because this hive mind of people on the internet are fighting for it.
Mm.
Um, but at the same time, people are kind of mean and also simple-minded because it's turning into a hive mind. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
yeah,
feel that way.
yeah,
But the sad thing is like where I'm getting to is like right now we need other means of violence,
yeah.
either internet violence, like cyberbullying, to get the point across, to get the thing solved, because like a poor normal individual person just can't have the power to have a say in the society against people that are rich or people that have power. We have to work as a team to get this thing done, so through cyberbullying, kind of. Another way is violence that happens that is so tragic that people finally wake up to the situation that has been going on for
Mm,
many, many times, like
mm.
someone's death or someone's some big tragedy has to happen for people to realize that, oh, there's an issue, we should do something about it. But that's more than not, it's like too late. It's not only in China though, in like the society in general, everywhere too.
Mm.
um Normally, like, this issue, it's kind of like swept under the rug most of the time, but someone commits suicide, or someone's like, I can't take it anymore, I will die for this, then it's when people go like, oh, let's remember this person, let's
Throwback to Timothy Treadwell.
yeah, like things like that, like, so I don't think in terms of that the society has improved at all.
But
It's like it
I'm on board with what you're saying though. Like death is the most effective way for people to pay attention to the shit you're trying to get across. I agree with you. I agree with you. Death and violence are the most effective means. I agree. Which is fucked up and unfortunate, but it's been the way that it is. So,
like Black Lives Matter in the
yeah.
past years,
Yeah.
and like whistleblowers and
Mm,
people.
mm, yeah.
Wait, let's like say this correctly. Like, what's his name again? The person that got in prison for being a whistleblower of like medical insurances?
For medical insurances? What? I might not know who you're talking about.
That dude, Luigi?
Oh yeah, yeah, got you. For murdering that person. I was like, who are
Oh
you
yeah,
talking
he
about? Luigi.
murdered.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he
yeah,
like murdered the
Luigi Mangione. Yeah,
WHO. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. So he is a modern time 武侠person, right? He's a modern time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff got censored, like in the Western media. Not like people are still talking
No,
about it,
I
but
think they just soften it by like spinning his image to, oh, he's so hot and like making his message less effective by like,
you can't talk. I think you can't talk about it on TikTok.
oh, really?
Yeah, that's why like for a moment everyone came to like Red Note and were like, we can talk about this on Red Note. And they were like shocked because like they would be banned or like extremely get extremely limited views on TikTok.
Okay, got you, got you, got you. I think his situation is interesting because his act of violence is undermined by like the narratives around him. Okay, he's a hot person. Okay, let's like thirst over this man and not like focus on what he does, right? So I think it's really a shame that it's all for nothing, right? Like it's basically all for nothing. But let's move on to the second story. I'm sorry. We got very
I'm just
distracted by what's going on.
I'm just so mad though. But do you have to go at a
I don't
certain
have to
time, or
go. Well, no, we can keep
okay, then we
talking.
can talk about more things. I got so mad watching this movie because I kept thinking about like issues that were happening um in China, because like it's not like I'm saying that China's bad or whatever. Well, it is bad in some aspects, but like like other societies, I just don't follow up with that much news,
Mm-mm,
so I don't know
mm-mm,
about it. But like
mm-mm,
in China, there's been things that are similar to what's going on in this movie that are happening right now, and people
mm-hmm,
can do nothing about it. Even cyberbullying doesn't work because they have too much money and too much power, and
mm-hmm.
it's infuriating.
It
I
really
don't
is.
know if you know what I'm talking about. Like one of the things I think that are very popular on mainstream Chinese news and media right now is a while ago is the Huangyang Tiantian. I don't know if you know about it.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
I do know about it because we know about these things, right? We yeah.
Yeah. We should
So
post like a thingy here, like for
yeah.
people to like blurb for people to read about it if they care. I don't know if people
It's
care.
basically a tale of corruption similar to the first story, Dahai's situation. Yeah. Mhm.
So in 2008, there was a huge earthquake that happened in Sichuan, China,
Hmm.
and everyone in the country tried to donate what they could. A lot of people made huge sacrifices um, to their own personal wealth to make sure that people that were affected by the earthquake had a chance to, like recover from the terrors that happened and get, clean food, clean water, and clothes, and have a place to live, all of that. Tons and tons of donations by every single person in the country. A lot of donations were even mandatory at that time, like at least like 1 yuan or something, right? That happened when we were basically in elementary school, I think.
Yeah,
But a lot of that money, I don't know what percent, but a lot of that money went missing. And we don't know where the donated funds ended up. And apparently, now we know that those funds ended up in the pockets of a few people, or to be specific, a family. And that family was highlighted out because their daughter um, was just recently graduated from high school.
hmm
And on her graduation ceremony, she wore earrings that were too expensive to, like, they were just like incomprehensibly expensive
hmm
at the point. And a high school student shouldn't be wearing that with like a smile on her face. And she was trying to show it off because it was expensive and it was legit, like gemstones.
hmm
So people started like digging and found out that basically she and her family took up a lot of those funds that were donations from people of the country. And that sparked mutual hate, of course. But then she ended up going into a good university, as she always wanted. She wanted to be a movie, like a basically like a Hollywood star.
hmm
And that's, she's still starring in movies and TV shows. And no punishment of any kind has come to her family. And investigations results announce basically that, like those gemstones, they're just
Fake.
glass crystals.
Yeah.
They're fake, and they're just like, family heirlooms. Shut up with her bullshit. Like, like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
know.
now, like, everyone's still like trying to post about it, trying to raise public awareness about it, but still, like, nothing is
Done.
happening.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have another social event to talk about once we get to the third story.
The
But
one about Xiao Yu.
yeah,
Okay, let's do it. Let's do the second one first, though, about SAR.
I'm so mad. I'm sorry.
No, we are mad. Like we think about things, right? It's hard not to think about things. Like we have some contextual knowledge regarding our history and what's been going on, and more often than not, things are not solved, despite people's collective effort to get things like heard and like addressed. But yeah. Yeah, this is the most workshop I've seen you in these like video calls of ours.
I just, I just get super mad.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah. Time for the second story.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll
No,
get
no.
myself
Don't
together.
apologize for being angry because it means we can still feel about these things and we're willing to talk about it. So
Yeah.
okay. So the second story, I also took some notes. The second story features Sar, which, as we said, meant third son, basically. He's a third son. So it's um he was the person on the murder spree in the prologue, and now we are in his hometown where he just returned from the murder spree, I guess, and then he returned and everyone in the village were like, okay, he's here. And suddenly it was really, really silent and people were turning heads and stuff. And he was back home for his mother's 70th birthday. And that we can see his wife and him were not on such good terms. But sometimes he will like mail her money, like 13 grand or something mysteriously from like a really strange address. And she really doesn't want anything to do with the money because she probably suspects they're not from like really legit means. And then basically
And she's
this one
right.
is yeah, he basically later we find out she's right. Like, and this story is super short too. Like, we see him like observing some people in a bank, and I guess, and
Yeah,
then
you're a bank coming out of a bank,
hmm
uh, and overhearing their conversation of, let's grab tea in the afternoon. I'll see you later. Like two really rich ladies going be like exchanging small talk, and
uh,
then he got like super angry, but he kind of don't know like what he's angry at because this is just like a rich individual, but that rich individual represents uh more
did you
a
think he
bigger.
got angry? Um,
Well, like, like all of his actions before were so calculated leading up to like the stealing thing, right?
mm,
I don't think such calculated and careful scheming would result to shooting two people in the middle of the street where there were like 50,000 witnesses.
but it was calculated in a way because he was wearing like this
He
guy.
hit himself, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my
You thought he was
interpretation.
enraged? Okay.
But
Okay.
he like shot a shot in the sky. That was his last shot. Why would like he do that if he wasn't angry or in like some sort of fierce emotion,
He
experiencing some
shot
fierce.
a shot in the sky during New Year's for his son, too.
That's a different, but that's different. You think he's celebrating? He's like, whoa, money, bram. I don't think it's the same thing.
I think it's more like another kind of like a wuxia kind of move, right? Like kind of boom,
Maybe.
rich
I don't
person off, off the grid, money
take
secured.
it. Take, yeah.
Um, and I thought also at the end we saw him on a bus full of people, and the bus has somewhat advanced technology where it has a TV in front, and they were watching this kind of like Jean-Claude Van Damme like
It's called
action.
放逐.
Feng.
放逐. It's a Cantonese movie,
It's a Cantonese movie. Okay, okay.
I think,
I thought it was
but
like
it's
Western action.
mhm,
Um,
called 放逐. But I didn't really get into like what that movie was about and what it means and signifies for this movie.
I think
So,
I think for me, like I think it just signifies that modern China, or like for some people, they are just obsessed with violence. And I read a bit about the person
uh-huh.
who the figure was based off of, and he was actually really obsessed with like Saving Private Ryan and like Jean-Claude Van Damme and like Terminator movies where like it's a Western hero like using guns just to do whatever they want, right? Like he was obsessed with sensationalized violence on screen. And I feel like in Sar's tale is also pretty clear where in one scene he just finished fucking his wife probably and he was saying, okay, I want to go to Myanmar to just get a super nice gun. I think using gun is what I want in life. I love guns. Um yeah, kind of like he's wired that way, just only to think about violence and how to get his way through violence. Yeah.
Mhm. But we also see like Sar throughout like his story. He seems very detached and very cold to the people around him. And this is also like crediting the movie analysis that I was
hmm
looking at. But basically, like one big layer of this story, the plot line isn't as like clear as the first story of Dahai, where it's like a revenge story. In this story, it's basically like kind of Dahai story taking the next step. Basically, the modernization of the society has resulted in individual relationships being alienated and people drifting apart and sort of like forcing people out of their homes in um, rural areas to go to cities because
Mhm.
that's what we see for his two brothers as well. They're all in the city to try to find a way of making a living. And
Like
as we can see, like,
migration in China, it's
mhm,
definitely a thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And basically, like all the people that SARS interacted with in the movie, he is cold and distant to, even with his brothers, even with his wife, with his son. He doesn't know how to show affection and love for anyone anymore. And and I think another scene that speaks to this is where like the three brothers are sitting together at the table and sort of they're dividing the money.
Mhm.
It's like good to be, there's a saying in Chinese, 亲兄弟算明账. Even though, you know, like we're true brothers, but we still have to keep a clear record of money.
Mhm.
Basically, that's what it is.
Mhm.
But they're doing it in such a formal and calculated way that it seems like they're not like that close.
Yeah,
And
I was also
also,
struck by that scene too.
mhm.
Yeah.
And also like the other thing was that brawl scene, like where they were fighting in the mahjong
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So that scene, when I was initially watching it without like reading any analyses or anything, confused me so much. I watched it twice.
Mm.
Um, and why it confused me was because they're basically Sar here, he's detached from the whole scene as well. He's more like an observer of what's going on instead of actually participating in it. But basically at the mahjong table, there's a few people playing mahjong, and then one person starts up the conversation about, you know, how people in their town has in their like little village has to go to the city and other places to find work, and they're talking about how the women are going to brothels or related places, and another person picks up from what that person was saying and says like kind of condescendingly to a person across from the table saying, you know, oh, I heard like a girl that you were hitting on before went there and she caught AIDS and
Hmm.
didn't like you sleep with her one night, maybe you should like check out and see if you got hit with AIDS too, you
Hmm.
know, just to be safe. But he was saying it in like a kind of mocking way. And
Hmm.
then that made the guy sitting across from him get really mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then another guy came in and started saying, well, if you want to get in a fight, you better do it now. We're counting down to New Year's. It's New Year's soon. Bet you can't get into a fight. Like, you better do it soon. And then this guy that what got provoked just like, you know, punched that guy that was provoking him in the face, not the person sitting across from him saying, you know, you should get checked for AIDS, the person provoking him saying New Year's almost here. And that guy got punched. And then he went and punched another person that like the person that started the conversation but wasn't really saying anything mean. He was just like saying like the observation. So that person, the first person on the table, and then that person got beat up, and then he went and beat up another person, random person, and then the brawl continued to the other room where another person got beat up, and they're kind of just like, you know, I don't know what they're doing. But the person that said the meanest thing and the person that kind of, you know, started this whole mess and said you should get checked for AIDS didn't get hit one single punch. And that was what I was confused by. I was like watching the scene and I noticed that that person didn't get hit. I was like, well, you're supposed to be punching him in the face. Why are you guys starting? And what did the other people do? Like, what the heck? I was like, who's who? That was why I was confused. But then when I looked in the analysis, it all made sense because the person that started this conversation, not started this conversation, but talked about AIDS and provoked the guy in the first place, had a thing on his arm.
Like tattoo.
No, not a tattoo. Like a seal wheel, like one of
Oh,
those
okay,
like
okay.
little red thingies that
Okay.
indicates he's a person of small power.
Okay. Hmm.
And you know what that means? That it sort of just highlights the whole issue of everyone's getting detached from each other to the point, and modernization has like taken people so apart and picked apart this collectivism and united society to the point where people at the bottom, people struggling, people that are marginalized, kind of can only take out their anger on each other
Hmm.
instead of,
On one of
like,
their own, yeah, instead of the
yeah,
power figure. Yeah.
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 And yeah, that was a really key scene, I feel like, in this story.
That's so like detailed because straight up I zoned out during fight scenes. Like I don't really pay attention to who's being hit. That's so well observed. And I was confused by you saying you were confused and you watched it twice.
No, because I was like, why didn't bro get hit? He was
Now
the
I
one
know.
being
Now I
mean.
know, right? Like I zoned out during the fight scene. I was Wang Baoqiang. I was sorry during the scene. I was not.
Wang Baoqiang's acting was great in that scene. He was just like watching it, and he was like he looked zoned out, but not
Yeah.
completely. And in the end, he kind of just like
He just
was like,
looks like a PTS, like a veteran with PTSD, straight up.
yeah.
That's how
And he
he
kind of like
acted.
smiled coldly a little bit and scoffed and walked off.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, yeah,
All the actors are great in this movie, I have to say.
yeah,
It's
they're all good
refreshing to
actors.
see like legitimately good Chinese actors.
Mhm.
Yes.
It
And
really sells the story. Yeah.
mhm. And for the second story, I have to say that when I was watching it, I did not know that all these acts of violence were based on legit things that happened in the past. So
Mm.
when I saw him, the guy like shooting a woman's head off on the street, I thought it was another instance of absurdism and surrealism. Little did I know that it was for real. It did happen. Did you know that this guy, because in my distant memory, I remembered this guy in a way, because he was named 爆头哥. It was viral in the past.
I don't remember.
I had a bit of a memory about this person
Oh,
because it caused like
yeah.
general frenzy and
Oh,
like mass panic, right? People's heads just be shot off in the streets.
yeah.
So
I don't.
爆头哥, yeah, I had a memory about this person.
爆头哥 means headshot bro, like
Big,
headshot big
yeah,
bro, kind of like
big bro
not in a good way, but just a viral way of
in a viral
saying
way. Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I thought that in that way, like the the 爆头 aspect and the purchasing a plane off of the money embezzle aspect are both equally grand and absurd, but I know now that they are both reality, which is so fucked up. Like both things are reality, even when they seem so like impossible on the screen. I thought they were just bullshit. Not bullshit. I knew in my mind that like things could, like the plane, for example, it definitely could happen. Like because the people who embezzle, they do accumulate extravagant amount of money to buy unimaginable things, like you also said about Huang Yang Tian Tian, right? But
Mhm.
seeing them happen on screen just shocks me in a really, really effective way, right? Um,
Mhm.
I think that's how hyperbole sometimes work, but in this way, it's also sad because we know it's not hyperbole. It's not
Going
hyperbole.
back to the first story, just watching Dahai go and like when he killed the first person, I got so scared. I was like, dude, what are you gonna do now? You killed two people. Like, what the hell?
Mhm.
Like, what is this gonna turn into? But then he proceeded to kill every single person that was involved, and I was like, good job! With one more kill, I was like, and I got all psyched up because I was like feeling it, and I
Mm.
was like, good job. But then at the same time, it felt surreal. Oh yeah, there was a thing that I forgot to mention for the first story. Sorry for doubling back yet
All good.
again.
All good.
There's also from the analysis, but it's about Nietzsche. I
Nietzsche?
don't know Nietzsche, there we go.
Mhm.
That's the right pronunciation. But for the horse that was shown in the first scene that got almost comedically like brutally beat up because like the person was just there beating up that horse, whipping that horse for no apparent reason. And it was like really kind of almost robotic and repetitive. And he was
Yeah.
just like, and he just kept doing that. And but in the end, that person beating up the horse got shot by
Mhm.
Dahai.
Mhm.
And that horse kind of just like walked away from the rest of the crowd,
Mhm.
where everyone was, going to see, I guess, Dahai's murder act of Bastille. Um, but apparently, that horse represents Ni- n- n-
Nietzsche?
Nietzsche, Nietzsche's horse story, like the Turin horse.
Okay, okay.
So this was also made into a movie, but it's based on the famous story of Nietzsche and this horse. So basically what happened was Nietzsche saw this person beating up a horse, a working horse on the street, and he went and hugged the horse and burst into tears and went like, "Oh, both of us two poor souls," or something. And he had a mental breakdown and he went mad after that.
Mm.
Yeah, but this is basically kind of like alluding to the Turin horse, this scene and what happened, but it's kind of praising Dahai as Dahai didn't do like he didn't just sympathize with the horse. He took action and actually killed the person that was committing those violent acts to the horse and oppressing the horse. And that's basically in line with Nietzsche's earlier ideologies of 超我, like being the better self and
Mhm.
doing surpassing yourself in terms of life. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Kind of like initially his acts of violence were like in direct relation to himself, kind of avenging where he's been done wrong, but this one it's more so above himself, like you said, above and beyond. Kind of like, okay, I'm also struggling. I'm also like symbolically beaten up, but it's not strictly on him, but he still does it anyway for
mhm,
a tortured being. And in that way, I think it's like you said, like 超我 for the people. Haha.
for the greater good.
Yes.
And another thing was like he was whenever if people don't watch it in Chinese, they probably don't have um like don't understand Chinese, they won't get the dialogue as well. But when Dahai was speaking, he was always speaking in like older terms of during like where China was more collectivist and more, what was the word again? 无产阶级,
Like
more,
proletarian.
yeah, more proletarian and more for like the greater good and for everyone's good instead of on your own sake.
Hmm.
And he was speaking more in those terms, like
Like 同志,
yeah, like those kinds of words
like
and those
comrade.
kinds of
Yeah. Hmm.
things. Yeah. But it's like it's like a kind of stark comparison to the terms and the words and the dialect that people are speaking now around him.
Mm.
That's another thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just seems like a person from the olden days, right? Like even
Mm,
older than his time. Yeah. Agreed.
idealistic. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, that's
Do you
enough of the first story. Sorry for
No,
talking.
all good. It's very, very dense. Not dense, but it's very rich. It's a very rich text. Anything else about the second text that you wanted to talk about? No? Okay.
So.
Let's move on to the third one, 小玉.